Hey, it's BrickTsar. We're going to do a bat episode. That's BrickTsar Answer Thingy for those of you that are new to this channel. If you are new, be sure you subscribe. This is Lego related questions and occasionally sometimes not Lego related, but related to something that a Lego video inspired. So I'm way behind on the bats, so we're going to do 5 in this video, and I think that's what I'm going to do until I get caught up. We'll do 5. At least from 5 different YouTubers, maybe more than 5 questions. I'll try to keep it at 5. So, don't know where I'm going to go. I haven't even picked up the 5 questions yet. So, here we go. Let's see how it goes. All right, we're going to go down, and I'm going to start with KLOKRIECHER. I think that's how you say his name. Until yesterday, he had the second most BrickTsar linked reviews to YouTube. I think the For Real caught up with him. Actually, he was the third. Brickling's been ahead. But I want to answer his questions because he's been doing the reviews a really long time on YouTube. So this is from KLOKRIECHER. And it's 2 questions. He says, which themes do you think will be discontinued after 2015? I've heard that Chima will end, and I guess that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle theme is going to be retired soon as well. And I agree with that. I think Chima will come back. I don't think that it's ended. Although I don't know. I'm pretty sure the Mutant Ninja Turtles will be gone for a while, and depending on what else is going on, it could come back. So I don't think anything's permanently retired, whether it be Ninjago. We've seen Ninjago come back. Chima, they could reboot that again. I think mainly it's just different waves will be gone. I think the things that you'll always have will be Star Wars, City, and Technic, and things like that. And Friends looks like it's here to stay. I don't think it's going to fail like Paradisa did. But I think things that are maybe movie related, those will tend to go away, like we saw with some of the failed movie themes. Those go away. So I don't know. I don't really think too much about what is going to go away until after it's gone. So I'm not the best to answer that question, but it is a good question because especially if you really love a theme, like I know a lot of you kids like Chima, and then when it goes away, you're like, oh, where did it go? Yet it sits on the shelves, and even when it's on clearance, nobody buys it. At least that's my opinion. So the next one is also from KLOKRIECHER. He says, do you think we'll get a new Lego Star Wars video game? I think the timing is perfect for this because we have, oh, he's got more to his question here. We have the new Rebels TV. And of course, there's going to be another Star Wars Lego video game. I think they will continue to do that. Just as long as Lego continues to do Star Wars, there will always, I think, be new video games. Even maybe even based off of the original Star Wars, they may reboot it, or as these new movies come out, there'll be video games, of course, related to that, in addition to the TV shows. I'm not a big fan of the Star Wars related TV shows. I'm more into the movies, but they're going to do what's going to sell, and Star Wars, I think, will continue to sell. Here's another one. This is from Lego City Customs. They ask, why are there always air bubbles in the Star Wars lightsabres? And that is actually true. Most always. Now, occasionally you will find some that have no air bubbles, and that's just, I guess, from the procedure of making translucent colors. There's just going to be air in them. I pretty much all the ones I have air, and I know sometimes people complain about it, but it's like that's the way they come new. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe. What do you think? Do you think Lego should do something to make that where that never happens? I don't even know if it's possible. I've never watched them actually make them, but that's just, I guess because of the thickness of it, it's always there. And then that makes me wonder, are Lego bricks, do they have air bubbles in them, but you just can't see it because it's not trans-clear? Don't know. All right. Next question. We'll go to one from, let's see who, let's do All In Bricks. All In Bricks. And this is a good question. It says, are you able to share some of your bad experiences purchasing on Bricklink? And what advice can you give to a new buyer, especially purchasing overseas, since he's in Australia? This is an excellent question. I have different tolerance levels than other people do as far as what I buy. Don't ever pretty much really expect a set that I buy that is listed as complete to be complete, especially if you call it complete with all the pieces correct for the period, the time period. And I'm always finding something, either a substitute part or they don't have the extra parts. That's the one that people tend to leave off. To me, technically, if a set is listed as complete, it should even include the extra pieces. But that's not really, it's not a big deal. And it should, the things that I always want is that it have the rare pieces and they not be broken. So I've had a lot of good success, and I have had some bad experiences as well. I usually contact the seller, especially if things are missing. I did have a seller in the US that listed some 1990s city stuff as complete, but I think that he did not realize that there were multiple instruction manuals for a lot of those sets. So he had the manual for, like, one of them I know for a fact was the phone truck. There were 2 manuals in that set. He only had the manual for the phone truck. He didn't have the manual for the phone, and he listed it as complete. And I contacted him. He never responded. I blacklisted him. So that's what I do. I'll never buy from him again, and that's the end of it. That doesn't happen very often, and I have found sellers that are really ones that I really like, and those are ones I always return to. And I show you the hauls, and I think I'm honest when I get a haul if there's something I don't like about it. Sometimes that has backfired with me if somebody charges more than the shipping should have really been. But I always try to find that information up front. So if you know up front what the shipping is going to be, then you can't complain about it if you go ahead and decide to purchase it. So I learned from that. So it's going to be very expensive getting stuff from overseas, and you're in Australia, so you might be wanting to buy a lot of stuff from the United States. I don't know if that's even feasible for you, because it costs more for me to send something to Australia than it does for somebody from Australia to send it to me. And it's either way, it's real expensive. So I used to buy from people in Australia, but very rarely now, because number one, unfortunately for you guys, it costs more to begin with. And then number two, the shipping is one of the most expensive to ship. So don't do a lot of transactions from Australia. So basically, I will share them, and I'm going to try in the future from now on, instead of maybe doing 3 or 4 packages in one haul, I'm just going to focus on the one package. Now that may be lame sometimes, because it might be just one item in the package, or it might be just a small haul, but I want to try to start making sure I mention the seller, good or bad. So I've kind of shielded some sellers that I've had negative experience. Maybe I've said that I had a bad experience, but I didn't tell you who the seller was. So I'm going to start doing that. But really, I don't have many bad experiences. I've been working on the things that I bought from France, and I'll show you here on my table. You see all those vintage sets? I'm getting ready to review those, and I decided to do my bat as I messed my camera up. I decided to go ahead and do this bat, sorry, instead of reviewing those. I'm going to start uploading this, then I'll go over there and review those. So far, I have found some extra parts, and I have found some missing parts. None that were critical. Like that Renault, I had 2 extra 2x2 black plates. The inventory says 20. There were 22, and you only need 20 to build it. One of there's a set over there. It's not over there. It's upstairs. It's supposed to have a hat. It's supposed to have a cowboy hat, and he just had a regular hat. So that's an easy mistake to make. I understand that, and there's not a big, huge price difference. Well, yeah, the cowboy hat is more valuable than the standard white hat, but I have some. So I can understand that might make somebody upset, but I'm not. It's not even I got so many good things. It's no point in me. I'm not even going to contact the seller because I got extra parts. And he was honest, as honest as he could be in the descriptions. The transport truck, which I'll be reviewing, that has the fish symbol on it, it was missing a 2x4 blue brick, part 3001. You know, a 3-cent part I was missing. Oh no, the horror. So no big deal. But most of the other stuff was complete, and the instructions were in good condition. So that's all I care about. But that shows you, and he was meticulous in the way he listed things, and in the way he packed them. There are extra parts in some of the sets that I've already opened and built, but there's mistakes, and I don't know if it's even possible to eliminate a seller from ever making a mistake. Now, granted, some of these sets only got 90 to 100 pieces or less, so if you really were thorough, you could double check it. But you know, those types of mistakes are going to happen. The main thing I wanted to make sure it had the rare elements, the wheel holders, the printed pieces, the doors, things like that that are more rare, and it had all those. If I'm missing a 2x4 brick or a 1x1 brick or a 1x1 plate, it's not that big a deal. So I've kind of went long on that. I was even thinking about doing a separate video about Bricklink and eBay, but I've said this in older videos. I'd have to actually go back and find it, because when I first started doing YouTube, I started getting those kind of questions like what we're answering right now. And I remember saying in different times that I feel safer buying on Bricklink than I do eBay. That's still the case, but I will say that there's been an effect from ones like me and Brick Stackers and Bricks on the Dollar and Bricks from Chris, Lego for Chris in the old days. But it's Bricks from Chris on his Bricklink store. It's Bricks for Chris, his YouTube. So, you know, we got these YouTube stores, and I'm not YouTube stores. I'm tired. Bricklink stores. And it's encouraged kids to do it. And I was very adamant in a previous video about saying, kids, do not open a Bricklink store. And this is where we're getting some of the major problems. But you can pretty much tell a kid's store because the inventory, of course, is going to be less because they haven't had enough time to build up their inventory. So you're going to... Kids, don't open a store. Don't, even if your parents are helping them, unless your parent is an expert and they are actually running the store, you shouldn't. You really shouldn't open a store. And that's... But I'm not going to... I'm not going to be buying usually from a kid. There are some that I perhaps may have bought from, but yeah, you need to follow the terms of service for whatever you are using, whether it be YouTube or Bricklink or eBay. So, and it's usually, I can tell a lot of times when I go to a store, not necessarily that it's the kid, but that the seller is not really familiar with certain things. Like if they've only been selling for a couple of years and they got light gray, pink, dark gray elements in their store, I question that right off the bat. I'm thinking, do they really have those parts? Because I don't know how long they've been collecting. Now, they may be correctly listed, but they may be the new colors. So I have to look at other things that they have. And then if I needed some of those colors, I actually ask them, are you sure this is what it is? So that's the other thing you can always do, especially if you're buying specific things that you need. And it is frustrating if you go to a store and you're just looking for one part, but in order to get to the minimum, you have to buy other things. And then in the process of doing that, you get your order. The one part you order is missing, broken, or not accurately described. I have had that happen sometimes even before I even started doing YouTube. So that is frustrating. But then you don't buy from that seller again. That's why as a seller, even I made mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes. I even had one of my Pablos that I made a mistake, and I could actually go back and watch the video and see where I made the mistake. And the person gets it. They say, oh, I'm missing this part. Oh, yes, you were missing it. I either got it from the wrong bin, I counted wrong. So you know, those are going to be happening. But what do? I make good on it. That's what a seller should do. And that's what, you know, as a buyer, we can't expect perfection from the sellers. We should expect that they take care to do what you know, what we expect them to do is best to their ability and not be sloppy with it. But yeah, I have made my share of mistakes. I've given some things for free to make up for it. I've done other things, so I want people to come back. Except you can't come back because my store's closed. Sorry about that. So I ended up spending more time on that question than I thought I would. But it's a very good question from All In Bricks. All In Bricks. And let's go to that's only 3. Let's do another Bricklink question. This is from cowgirlelisatx. Actually, I already answered that question, but she says, what is a lot requirement on Bricklink? And that's where sellers don't want you going in there and buying one thing here and one thing here and one thing here and one thing here. And next thing you know, you got a 300-piece order that's $6, and it's going to take the guy an hour to pick it. So that's what lot limits are. They're saying, okay, you got to buy, if you're going to buy so many lots, you got to have so many items in the lot to make it worth the person's time to pick it. And that does take a long time. All right, so let's do one more question. And, Nicholas Martin asked a good question. I may have to do that in another video about a base plate that is warped. All right, let's do another one. Oh, here's one from Axis Crater. Axis Crater. Who is your favorite character in the Lego movie? Can you see that? Make sure you can see that. Spaceship Benny is my favorite character. And I'm going to update the studio eventually, and I'll have things. I need to put little signs up here for when I do bats, because my head usually blocks it. Favorite set, favorite character, favorite YouTubers, favorite sets, a lot of that stuff's up here. So anyway, those are the questions. I hope I can remember what they were. This bat went way long. I kind of like the dialogue about the Bricklink and selling. I didn't even really touch into eBay, but I will say that do not go to eBay expecting to get what you are getting. And I will be doing some more hauls of things I've bought that are incomplete. So buy expecting to get incomplete sets when you buy on eBay, because people generally don't know. Look at the pictures. I always base it on what I see in the pictures. Oh, I could talk more on that. Do you think I should do another video talking about this into more detail? Maybe get some comments from you. Why don't you do that? Put some comment. If you want me to talk more about this buying and selling, especially the buying part, since that's probably what the vast majority of you will be doing. Put your questions that you have. Maybe we can do a video just around buying on Bricklink or eBay. So thanks for watching this bat. Thanks for your question. I will get around to answering some of these other ones. And if you like this format, let me know. I've gone back and forth. Sometimes I do just a video where I answer just one question. Sometimes I put them at the end of another video that's not even a bat video because it relates to that. So yeah, we'll continue to be fluid in that. Thanks for watching. It's BrickTsar.